Hey everyone. So last video I posted, I was still in Missouri and had just finished a 3-day, 2-night canoe trip. As you can see, I'm no longer in Missouri. I'm in the desert, but that'll be a future video. So after the canoe trip, I went back to Kansas City and dropped off some of my camping gear and then repacked the Jeep and headed out again. And I ended up going down further south in Missouri, different route. And I camped outside of Lake Pomme de Terre. There's a campsite that my family used to go to when I was a kid, just behind the dam. And I hadn't been there for a really long time. So I stopped there and camped for 2 nights. And then I was looking for something to do around that area. And there is a state park very close to there called Ha Ha Tonka State Park. And I've seen signs for it, since I was a kid, but had never been. So being that I was in the area and I was looking for something to go do and hike, and I went ahead and went over there to check things out. And so let's pick this video up back there. These are the remnants of Ha Ha Tonka Castle. Construction on the castle started in 1905 by Robert McClure Snyder, a businessman from Kansas City who purchased the property after first visiting in 1903. Following Snyder's death in a car accident in 1906, construction was completed by his sons in the early 1920s before the stock market crash of 1929. The castle was used as a summer and weekend home by the Snyder family up until the late 1930s, when it was used as a hotel. However, it was destroyed by fire in 1942, and the state purchased the castle and grounds in 1978, adapting them for use as a state park, and opened them to the public. Ha Ha Tonka was said to mean big laugh or smiling waters, mostly in reference to the large spring at the base of the bluff the castle is constructed on. I'll be hiking down to that spring a little later on, but first let's take a closer look at the grounds of the castle. The lake in the distance is an arm of Lake of the Ozarks near Camdenton, Missouri. The construction of the dam for that lake was started in 1929, well after the Ha Ha Tonka Castle was completed. I'm not 100% sure, but this area looks like a porte cochere, which is French for coach gateway, and describes a covered area providing shelter for people getting out of carriages. If anyone knows for sure if that's what this is or isn't, let me know in the comments. Just beyond the castle are the remnants of a carriage house. Carriage houses were built on large estates like Ha Ha Tonka to store horse-drawn carriages, buggies, and tack. They often featured a living quarters on a second level for a coachman or other stable staff, and this building next to the carriage house was the stable where they kept the horses. A little further west of the carriage house, I took the Del Rim Trail along the bluff that leads to the water tower that stored water for the castle. A tank at the top of the 80-foot tower provided gravity-fed water to the castle. Employees of the estate were housed in quarters beneath the tank. The water tower escaped damage from the 1942 fire that gutted the mansion and stable, but unfortunately it was burned by vandals in 1976. Continuing down the Del Rim Trail leads to the Spring Trail. Much of the trail is easy going along the boardwalk path, but there are several sections in this part of the trail that have steep stairs. On the south side of the dell, the Spring Trail turns very difficult. The sign indicates just how strenuous this section of the trail is, but someone wrote 320 stairs to really hammer home that fact. This is Ha Ha Tonka Spring, which is Missouri's 12th largest, with an average daily flow of 58 million gallons. The depth of the spring branch varies from 3 to 15 feet and maintains a 56-degree temperature year round. These are the remnants of an old mill that stretched over the stream. The original mill on the site burned in 1836, but a second one was built to continue supplying corn and wheat flour to early settlers in the area. This is the old grindstone from the mill. The second mill, shown in the photo, was destroyed in 1931 to make way for construction of Lake of the Ozarks. What you see here is essentially the beginning of the Lake of the Ozarks. And this is where I begin the strenuous climb back up to the top of the bluff that the sign earlier warned me about. Back on top of the bluff, here's a view of the water tower from across the way. If you made it this far in the video, please consider subscribing and go ahead and hit that like button while you're at it. It really helps push my channel out to other people. That'll be it for this video, and we'll see you on the next one.